There's two captains quite familiar with each other, of course, plying the trade both in London. One for Spurs, the shape and form of Harry Kane for Tottenham, and Andriy Yarmolenko of West Ham United on national duty for England and Ukraine respectively. And it is the pre-match rituals presided over by the referee for today's encounter, Felix Breich of Germany. His assistants, of course, Mark Bosch of Germany and Stefan Loop of Germany as well. Video assistant referee Marco Fritz. Fourth official Carlos Del Cerro Grande of Spain. And they will be the men who together will be making sure that all 22 on the pitch at each point in time will be keeping to the rules of the game as this very important fixture is set to kick off. So after dispatching Germany, England gets to play in a game being officiated by a cast dominated by Germans. This is of course for jokes.
It's a joke, of course, but just to tell you what football is like, you don't.
The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering
to make it to that stage. So here is John Stones for England, getting the ball into Declan Rice. All of this activity happening just after the halfway line. Harry Kane all the way back, switches play to Walker. Walker would find Jadon Sancho into the box. Mason Mount, was he tripped? Felix Breich keeping an eye on things, wasn't having any of it. But it is England back in possession. Sancho into Calvin Phillips. Now Maguire can urge the English boys on, giving it to Raheem Sterling, who is on 3 goals to this tournament. Raheem Sterling, beautiful ball for Harry Kane! And Kane opens the scoring for England. And that didn't take much time, did it? And the English captain follows up from a brilliant goal against Germany. And they say that form might be temporal, but class is permanent. And that is class from Harry Kane.
I talked about him getting his first goal against Germany, that might give him confidence coming into this game against Ukraine. And of course, Harry Kane has found that confidence. He looked bullish. He looked there to get the ball right into the net for the Three Lions, and he slotted it pretty well, getting past Bushan, the Ukrainian goalkeeper, who had absolutely nothing to do with the ball, but trying to widen up himself to try to stop the ball coming from Harry Kane. Harry Kane understood that, got the ball, chipped it out. Though you could say that Bochan had a little touch on the ball, but that didn't do enough for Harry Kane. Slotted it, good, nicely done for the English national team, and they lead this game in about 5 minutes of game time played here. 1-0 over the Ukrainians.
Yes, indeed, 1-0. Harry Kane to thank. If you were, of course, of the English persuasion, he is the 6th all-time scorer for the English, and he has added 1 more goal to the stats. He is only behind Michael Owen, Jimmy Greaves, Gary Lineker, Bobby Charlton and Wayne Rooney. And this is his 36th goal for the Three Lions. Harry Kane might have taken time to get started on the goal scoring side of things, but apparently he has got going.
I was going to say this before Harry Kane's goal came in. I was going to say that it has been a brilliant start from the Three Lions. They've had plenty of the ball possession, but the Ukrainians have done quite well to close them down and putting them really under pressure before Harry Kane found that opening and caught us through to the 18-yard box where he found opening and slotted that ball nicely done for the English team.
Matvienko will pick out Alexander Zinchenko. Ball comes in field now to Andrei Yarmolenko, back to Zinchenko. Twisting and turning the Manchester City man. Ball is all the way back to Sudachuk. Now would rest with Serhii. Christoph. The Ukraine on the attack down the left hand side. Here is Roman Yaremchuk. A brilliant give and go. Yaremchuk breathing down the necks of the English centre shorts, which is very well defended by Manchester City's John Stones. And the ball has gone away, and indeed the Ukraine would have a chance with the throw.
Ukrainians are okay trying to pressure down the English team, but they haven't had any good attempts going forward. They're just busy in the middle of the park trying to get the ball, trying to break the English team, but they haven't found that opening just yet. They look good going forward as well, but nothing concrete. They've been closed down by the defence of England so far.
Closed down by the English defence. As we have a look at that incident that happened earlier on, it was Mason Mount looked to have been tripped, even if just slightly, but importantly Felix Reich, the German referee, was not interested in it at all, and to be fair to him, none of the English players, bar Mason Mount, really protested for that penalty. I
was thinking your question was going to come again. When is the right time to give a yellow card and when is the right time to give a penalty? Well, I can answer that question. Depends on the referee who is overseeing the game at that point in time, but I would say that the referee had his decision for not giving that penalty to Mason Mount for that.
Well, it's a bit of a niggle between the number 10 for England, Raheem Sterling, and his Ukraine counterparts.
Karavev.
Yep, Karavev. And it's resulted in the referee Felix Reich awarding the Ukraine a free kick, which they will be launching a bit far out from the right-hand side of the England half of the pitch. In comes the ball into the box. It ricochets off Harry Kane after Mason Mount attempted a clearance. Now it's the Ukraine in possession, taking it all the way back. Now Michaelenko can have a feel of the ball. It's the man in yellow controlling the round letter at the moment, placing it on the left hand side, but now they can come in field a little bit to Christoph. Christoph looking for options, finds it in midfield. Karavayev. Now Sudachuk can recover into Zinchenko, back to Sudachuk. Alexander Zinchenko would have it. Sweet left foot of his, running circles around Harry Kane. England keep in shape, staying quite tactically in order, as the Ukraine keep enjoying bits of the ball with backward and sideway passes. Nothing much going forward for them.
Nothing much going forward. It is important that England have gotten the first goal of the encounter, though very early, just like we saw in the first game between Czech Republic and Denmark. Denmark having their first goal in about the 50 minutes of game time played. So yes, this goal might be very important for the English team. Looking at the fact that they haven't scored past 2 goals in this tournament so far, this might be able to see them scoring more goals in this tournament. But let's wait and see. The Ukrainians haven't had any breakthrough going forward. They've been closed down so much by the midfield and even the defense of the Three Lions.
Well, the Ukraine have won only one of their 7 matches against England, drawing 2 and losing 4. And those 4 defeats, including the side's only previous UEFA European Championship contest, with Wayne Rooney scoring the only goal at the Donbass Arena in Donetsk in a group stage of Euro 2012 to send England into the quarters and Ukraine out of the tournament. Andriy Yarmolenko, who is the top of the Stadio Olimpico today, also featured in that game alongside Andriy Piatov, who is on the bench. They all both played 90 minutes, and current coach of the Ukraine, Shevchenko, was the second half substitute in that fixture. Time does indeed truly fly, Dr. Koki.
It does really fly. Andriy Shevchenko also played in England, so he understands how things work, how they play football, how they understand football. He had a good career with Chelsea as well, scoring plenty of goals, and also played against the same Three Lions side. So you want to say that he understands them and he knows how to structure his players, form his players against the team. But right now they won't go down, so he would have to bring everything he has got to make sure that his team can come back into this game against the English side.
Well, every coach who played the game will tell you that it's a little bit different. Shouting instructions from the touchline and having the chance to do the business yourself on the pitch of play. But it's had its time in the sun. Shevchenko, fabulous career as a player. Now he will be looking to guide these men or boys, if you like, for the Ukraine to get a place in the semis by beating England, who are leading them currently by a goal to nil, courtesy of Captain Fantastic, Captain Harry Kane.
Men to boys, what initiated that?
Here is Declan Rice for England. Rice would find John Stones, who is coming off with the ball just past the halfway line. Finds Harry Kane, who was looking to flick it into Raheem Sterling. Now the Ukraine can break on a counter. Yaremchuk is in support. Here is Yarmolenko on his left foot up against Harry Maguire. Yarmolenko cross into the box. It's held effectively by Declan Rice, who would send it forward from whence it came. The result is that the Ukraine are back in possession just across the halfway line, as they are starting to gain more and more confidence going forward. With that pass, a little bit of a hit, searching for his fullback. Wouldn't inspire a lot of confidence, would it?
Yeah, Mykolenko should have, raced on to get that ball, but he couldn't get it for the Yellows, who are initially going now forward. They have that confidence already. They are trying to attack. We just saw an attack coming from Yarmolenko from the left-hand side, trying to break the ball in to the 18-yard box for the Ukrainians. But so far, the England defense have been quite resolute. They don't look shaken by anything. The likes of Declan Rice coming back to also defend as well. Maguire is there, John Stones there, so they have absolutely nothing to worry about. Maybe not just yet.
Well, so we say they start listening to a lot of these English players and fans alike from across the world, quite confident coming into this game that they will be the team to take on Denmark, and they've gotten off to a really bright start. Harry Kane with the goal very early on. And now maybe England can find a second. The Kyle Walker is speeding forward down the right-hand side. Walker would cross into the box. It's effectively defended by Matviyenko. And the rampaging number 2 would have the ball in hand to take control for England. Walker sends it all the way back to Calvin Phillips. Phillips taking his time on the ball, almost closed down by Mykolenko. Now Luke Shaw. Shaw back to Harry Maguire. Maguire will find centre-back partner in John Stones. John Stones will spread it to Walker. Now Calvin Phillips searching for options. Still Calvin Phillips. Just Calvin Phillips, Dorcas, representing a changing philosophy, if you like. Yes, from Gareth Southgate, plays for Leeds United, not Man United, Chelsea, or Liverpool or Manchester City, but of Leeds United, and is probably one of the first names on the team sheet.
Ever since Gareth Southgate came in, I would say that the ideology of England having to bring in players from Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United have changed a whole lot. He brought players in from Leeds United, from West Ham, from those clubs that you didn't expect him to go bring players in, and he has done that so well. Right now, Calvin Phillips is one breaking every edge for the English team, coming all the way from Leeds. Leeds had a good season in the just concluded English Premier League, so that will tell you what Gareth Southgate is working towards.
Marcelo Bielsa's fine contribution to English football. In all of his glory, Calvin Phillips. And now Walker. Walker will fit the ball into Mason Mount, who will lose possession. And Ukraine can regroup to have an attack on their own, looking to send it forward to Roman Yaremchuk. It's a little bit overhit. Bit of interference with our pictures. Hopefully it will be sorted out soon, and hopefully indeed it has already happened, as Raheem Sterling has swapped places from the left hand side to the right hand side, looking to pair a little bit more with Mason Mount.
I can understand the Ukrainians having every need to be defensive against the English team. They've been defending very compactly with all 11 men as they would have it in their own half, but they haven't had any chance or trying to press high on the pitch. So I think that they would have to break through with Yamalenko, Yaremchuk, and also Shaparenko to make sure that they can also get a goal in this game, maybe an equalizer against England before all hell breaks loose.
Well, it's going to be an uphill task for the Ukraine to be the first team in this tournament to score against England. 4 games, 4 clean sheets from the Three Lions. And it's a remarkable bit of awareness from Kyle Walker to head the ball back into Jordan Pickford. Now England can settle nice and easy, coming down now from the left hand side of the defence through Luke Shaw. Shaw would find Harry of the Maguire. Well-shaped in form. Now Ukraine on the attack. Roman Yaremchuk, and it's palmed away this time by Jordan Pickford, who is screaming at his defenders for something that he would be feeling was needlessly and carelessly conceded.
I think that ball was misplaced by Carl Walker. He was trying to find John Stones, but then it was intercepted nicely well by Yaremchuk, who had to pace down the left hand side. Found the foot was trying to take a shot past the English defender in John Stones, but then Pickford punched the ball out for a corner for Ukraine.
Zinchenko with a corner kick into the English box, headed away by Raheem Sterling, no less, as Sancho was looking to break on a counter for England. He will lose the ball to a sea of yellow shirts who are forming an attack of their own now, spreading it now to Zinchenko. Back in field, Ukraine going into the game as it were, despite being a goal down. And now Karavayev would pass it back to Zubaini. On to what Christoph. Now Mykolenko can come forward, the wing back for Ukraine. Still the Ukraine in possession into the box. Yamalenko looking to tee it up for his arriving midfielder. But the English boys will repel that with everything they've got. But it's back from where it came, and the Ukraine regroup quickly to launch another set of attacks on the English goal.
I must say that the Ukrainians have found a certain confidence in this game. We've gotten to see quick attacks on Yaremchuk. We've gotten to see how fast they can also be from the left to the right, passing the ball infield as well, trying to unsettle the defense like we just saw with Kyle Walker and John Stones, of course, are making a couple of mistakes which has aided Yaremchuk pace down the penalty area for the Ukrainians. So far, I think gradually the team in Ukraine can find a way back into the game.
Right, they have to deal with this Raheem Sterling attack. Unfortunately, we're losing a bit of our picture, but that will be sorted out in a matter of moments, and we can continue then to bring you a commentary of what's happening at the Stadio Olimpico, where the Ukraine are taking on England. Just a reminder for you how both teams have lined up. It's a 3-4-1-2 formation for the Ukraine. Yohi Bushan, the goalkeeper, Nikola Matvienko, and Serhii Christoph alongside Ilya Zubaini. The three at the back in midfield with two acting as wing backs is Vitaly Mykolenko, Alexander Zinchenko, Sudochuk, and Karavayev. Up front for Ukraine, you have Andriy Yarmolenko of West Ham United, captain of the side as well. It's Mykola Shaparenko and Roman Yaremchuk. For England, it's a 4-2-3-1 formation. Jordan Pickford in goal, Maguire, Stones, Walker, and Luke Shaw. The four at the back. In midfield, two holding, Rice and Calvin Phillips, both on a yellow card with the risk of missing out should England make it to the semis, and also should they pick up a yellow card in this fixture and returning to the side after going out due to contact with Billy Gilmore, who had at the time tested positive for COVID-19. After England's game with Scotland is Mason Mount, and Jadon Sancho, the new acquisition at Old Trafford, is starting on the right hand side of the English attack, and alongside Raheem Sterling on the far left hand side, and Harry Kane with the goal for England very early on in the first half, leading the English attack. Glad to let you know that Vic problems sorted out. Pictures back as clear as it can possibly be. And then, well, we can also now inform you that it's 20 minutes, 30 seconds into the fixture. And, well, nothing has changed as far as the scoreline is concerned. Still England leading the Ukraine.
Still England. Well, we're having difficulties with our picture just a few minutes ago. It was Ukraine who had a good spell. It was also from Zinchenko, who tried to make something out of nothing while he tried to edge out John Stones. But Jordan Pickford made a really good save. While he was making that save, he was screaming out at his defenders for not making sure that they could wait up that attack coming from Zinchenko.
Well, it's Calvin Phillips now in charge for England. Spreads it down to John Stones. John Stones centre forward pass to Declan Rice. And now Luke Shaw has the ball for the three lines. Taking the time to pass the ball casually. The boys in white shirts and blue shorts. Now Kyle Walker. Now Jadon Sancho rather can have a feel of the ball. Dribbling his way through, looking for the give and go with Calvin Phillips. Loses it, but will get it back. The Manchester United soon to be forward. Now Raheem Sterling supported by Luke Shaw into the box, and evades all the shots in right, which he was intended to pick out, but fantastic move by England, led of course by Jadon Sancho.
Really good attack from England. Jadon Sancho started that, but he found Raheem Sterling, who was running down the left-hand side, but then the ball was into the middle of the park in the final third. There was no England shirt who could slot that ball into the back of the net. That would have been England's second, but they didn't anticipate that.
Well, Jadon Sancho maybe tried to do a little bit too much, wrestled off the ball by the chasing pack Ukraine players in yellow. Ball settles now, they can come forward. Karavayev up against Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is into the thinking that he won it cleanly, but Felix Breich would disagree, and Felix Breich would award a free kick to Ukraine. Luke Shaw, fantastic game against Germany, supplying the assists for the goal from Raheem Sterling, I suppose. And it was Jack Grealish who was fantastic in the appearance he made. Of course, supplying the second, but assist for Harry Kane, but finds himself on the bench. The Aston Villa man watching on as the Ukraine look to come on the attack. Well, here is Yarmolenko stretching, but couldn't catch the ball with his left foot. Pickford would whack the ball straight in forward to no one in particular. Ukraine would defend it, send it back into the feet of Calvin Phillips. Now the ball at the moment is just outside the edge of the England 18-yard box, with the defenders kicking it out. Maguire to clocked in mate Luke Shaw. Mr. Shaw will take it back to Mr. Maguire. Now Kyle Walker. Sancho is in support, so is Declan Rice. He selects the option of John Stones. Stones, long ball, spreading it to Luke Shaw. England taking the time on the ball, enjoying possession as it were at the moment. No reason to particularly be in a hurry. But well, you can say, and of course with all due respect to Denmark and Spain, England, Italy, well, possibly play the final.
Yeah, you could say that, but must say this, that this game hasn't been, everything as anticipated. It's been a cul-de-sac, especially for England, leading the way through, possessing every angle of the ball from defense to attack. They've been on the front foot, and it's been quite wonderful to get to see. But it hasn't been a very high, intense game so far this evening.
No, Ukraine, whatever happens, would hold their head high. No one really tipped them to make it to this stage, especially the performance in the group, which wasn't just, well, as poor as you might judge it, not for poor performance. Remember, they gave the Dutch team a run for their money, ultimately losing 3-2.
One of my best games in the tournament so far.
Well, I agree with you as well. Fabulous goal from Yarmolenko off his left foot, something he will be looking to replicate this evening. Here is Raheem Sterling. Now, Luke Shaw with the ball. Just have to forgive us if it's looking a little bit too linear. It's the English boys and passing the ball backward and sideways, not creating a lot going forward. Oh, Stones into Maguire, who's well, kept steady the sheep since his recovery from injury. And England will win a throwing just at the left-hand side of the Ukraine defence. It is Sterling going over to take.
25 minutes of game time played, or let's say 26 minutes of game time played, and nothing exceptional has happened. England have had their fair share going forward, so after Ukrainians do nothing, nothing concrete in front of, nothing clinical in front of goal, but England have had the better game so far, attacking really well so far.
Here's Raheem Sterling looking to bend one past the defenders into the net. Wouldn't work out for him. Yarmolenko will find the Yaremchuk as the Ukraine were looking to break on the counter. Yarmolenko still giving the chase. Pickford will find Declan Rice, who didn't quite look so comfortable receiving that pass, but will do well all the same. And helps now in his course is Luke Shaw, who just tips the ball back into John Stones to afford England some breathing space. They will try to find Jadon Sancho, but Sancho is offside.
He was way offside at that point in time. The referee spotted that at the right time. He was just too offside. I think that cross shouldn't have come in at the time he came in for Jadon Sancho, who was already pacing down at the right-hand side for England to try to create something for them. But he was spotted and found out by the linesman in the game.
Well, a couple of friendships would have to be suspended for a little bit in this encounter. Of course, Yarmolenko and Declan Rice both play for West Ham United. And they have played together since 2018. Yarmolenko and Jadon Sancho also spent time at Borussia Dortmund together for season 2017-2018. And Zinchenko, Kyle Walker, Sterling, Foden, John Stones are all, yes, for the blue half of Manchester City. Well, they can resume friendship after hostilities end after 90 minutes or maybe more. Now here is Sterling. England breaking down the left-hand side. Sterling would pick out Luke Shaw as the fire fizzles out a little bit. And it is Sterling up against the number 4, Serhii Christoph. And Raheem Sterling, the diminutive forward, will win a free kick for the Three Lions.
Very important free kick for the English team. Raheem Sterling is sweating a whole lot. He's done quite well for this team, but I thought it was a very, very soft free kick to be given. I thought it was very soft, but finally the Three Lions have been given the free kick, and I hope they can get to use it wisely to get a second goal against the Ukrainians.
Well, the big boys for the Three Lions, the physical side of things, have made a way forward. Stones is in the box, so is Harry Maguire. It is the job of Luke Shaw to set the ball upon the heads of it, whichever he pleases. It is Luke Shaw to send one in. Great chance. It's headed with high and wide, and it's off the head of the captain, Harry Kane.
A newfound confidence from this man, Harry Kane. He hasn't scored more than one goal in the tournament. The only one he has came from Germany. I said that before, I'm saying it again. Well, he has found a goal here today against Ukraine, and he's now looking very confident to try to get his second again, or his third goal of the tournament so far. We already have two players who have 5 goals already in the tournament, of course, in Cristiano Ronaldo, and just earlier with Patrick Schick, who scored against Denmark. After that, it is, of course, that man who also left the tournament in Lukaku with 4 goals. So it's a lot to tell with Raheem Sterling 3, and of course Harry Kane just 2 goals so far in the tournament for his in his name.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo might have departed the tournament with Portugal, but his name is still top of the goal scorers chart. He is the man to beat at the moment. Never mind Patrick Schick, who recorded his 5 goals today, but Ronaldo has a single assist. That may indeed be factored in at the end of the day, but it was strange to me the tournament that Harry Kane was having, because he finished overall top scorer in the qualifying stage with 12 goals, including at least 1 a game, also providing 5 assists, but he's peaking at the right time. 2 goals, 2 games, and 2 goals successively. And that's what the English fans would have been expecting from their captain, and that's what he has done as we approach 30 minutes. England 1, Ukraine 0.
Raheem Sterling has been the most dangerous man so far for me when it comes to going forward and attacking for the English team. Whenever he is on with the ball, defenders are scared. He looks dangerous. He looked dangerous while he runs with the ball, and that's what we've gotten to see. And he has gotten 3 goals so far for the Three Lions. And here he's yet to score against Ukraine, but he has put in a good shift for the English national team tonight.
Michael Lenko has Jadon Sancho to deal with. Jadon Sancho looked to have evaded his marker, but Michael Lenko would go to ground and take the ball off the feet of the twinkle-toed Englishman. England with the throw-in, the far right-hand side to be taken by Kyle Walker. Walker would find John Stones. John Stones into Declan Rice. Rice to Maguire. Maguire coming forward. Now Raheem Shaquille Sterling will have a feel of the ball, chested down. Couldn't make inroads forward, retreats to Maguire, who returns the favour. In the space of the last 5 seconds, it's been Maguire and Sterling exchanging passes. He will find John Stones into club teammate Kyle Walker. Sancho will find Declan Rice. Sancho looking to create space for Mason Mount. Haven't seen much of the young Chelsea midfielder. Still perhaps hungover from not being in this side since that incident involving Billy Gilmore, but England can come forward yet again. Sancho. Walker back to Sancho. England laying siege on the Ukraine half of the pitch. Cross comes in looking for Harry Kane. It's headed away, and England can build once again.
Harry Kane was well guarded by the defenders of Krzysztof Matvienko. They did well to wade off that attack coming from Harry Kane.
Here is Raheem Sterling. Dribbling his way through. Rice will strike! Oh, and Bushan will save. Remarkable strike met by a remarkable save. And, Ukraine are looking to go forward now. It is a number 10, Shapalenko. What a strike that was from the West Ham United midfielder, but equally met with some amount of brilliance. It was Georgi Bushin who would react and palm it away.
An unexpected strike from that man, Rice, who took a swiper against the goalkeeper Bushan, but he spotted that ball at the right time. He was looking at it as the ball was coming, and he had his both hands to the ball, punched it out, but then again the ball fell into the legs of the English players who were already surrounding the 18-yard box of the Ukrainians. But it was a wonderful save once again from Bushan.
Wonderful save from Bushan, but Ukraine haven't seen the end to that English attack as well. The centre-back, Serhii Christoph, he's on the turf, looks to have twisted his muzzle to a tendon somewhere beyond its limit. He is receiving attention as the medics will try to repair him to see if he could perhaps still continue. Whether indeed he will be able to do that remains to be seen, as he is out of our picture at the moment. As we take another look at that strike. What's a strike from Declan Rice? What
a strike. Well, it was initiated by that man again, Raheem Sterling, from the left flank. He put the ball into the middle of the path. It was well defended off by the Ukrainians. Found, of course, Declan Rice, who swiped a very good one against the Bushan. But Bushan did quite well against that ball, punched it out. Found again, of course, that man in Jadon Sancho. But then there was nothing concrete after that beautiful one from that man, Declan Rice.
Well, nothing would come of it. That's what the goalkeepers are there for. As Christoph, the number 4 for Ukraine, looks in a tad bit of pain. So, well, making his way off, and looks like he will be unable to continue, as we will be seeing the first change of the game. It's going to be first by the injury to Georgi Christoph, is having a word with this coach Andriy Shevchenko. And in the end, it's respect and nothing more from the coach and player. Yes, Andriy would give him a handshake. Yes, well, we'll see a substitution.
Is it just me, or you think Christoph looks like Alexander Usyk? I don't know, just say it.
Well, no, we'll have to ask Keiko to confirm that for us as well. He is the boxing expert. Well, they say we come in molds, don't we? Well, it's truly the change. It's Christoph who is off, and Tsiagankov, Victor Tsiagankov is coming on to take his place at the heart of the Ukraine defense, slotting perfectly beside Matvienko and Ilya Zubaini, as the Ukraine team will look to well, just cancel the deficit that they have at the moment, losing a goal to nil to England with 10 minutes to go before the expiration of the first 45. And coming forward is Tsiagankov. Tsiagankov will find Mikolenko, would find Matvienko. Matvienko streaming forward, searching for options. Mikolenko into port, selects to use him. Ball now goes infield to Alexander Zinchenko, into Yaremchuk. Yaremchuk to Mikolenko, back to Zinchenko. Ukraine trying to carve out openings down the left-hand side. Haven't really succeeded in doing that, but won't lose possession as they still have it. Yaremchuk walking really hard. Ball is into Zinchenko. Now Yaremchuk would possibly cross into the box. It's picked out Yarmolenko. Zinchenko. And it was Mason Mount who was retreating to defend for the Three Lions. And just when the Ukraine thought they had blocked it off through Tsiagankov, the substitutes, it's being ruled that the ball indeed touched his arm, and England will gain some reprieve as the Ukraine barrage of attacks will come to an end.
Tsiagankov is a winger for Ukraine, but it is very difficult for Shevchenko right now because they have no centre-back on the bench after Christoph was taken off and was replaced, of course, by winger Tsiagankov. It simply means that they might have to change their formation as it is. It's going to be really, really difficult for the Ukrainians so far. Without a centre-back and trying to wait off every attack coming from England, it is a serious uphill task for the Ukrainians.
Well, this is where the coaches would earn their stripes, really. Difficult situations will call for some level of innovation, and that's exactly what Shevchenko will be looking to do. The substitution forced on him by the withdrawal of Serhii Christoph. In comes Sigankov, and we will be really looking to see where he slots in, and the tweaks that will be made to the shape of the Ukrainian team as a result. Meanwhile, Raheem Sterling's been brought down by a rash tackle by Shaparenko, the number 10 for Ukraine.
I still do think that Michaelenko will drop back to help the defense for the Ukrainians, while of course Singakov will have to apply the straight from the wing.
Oh, England through Walker, controlling the ball at the moment. Well, they haven't been overly spectacular, the English, throughout the tournament, but they have been able to do the business. And if it stays this way, they will be marching on to take on Denmark on the 7th of July, back in Wembley. Will be recorded by the cynics as yet another advantage for the Three Lions. Well, they are in Rome, and they are certainly not looking like they are being affected by playing away from home.
Yeah, they don't look affected at all. They find it quite easy. I think they're having a 20 session at this point in time.
There is Shaw looking to Sancho with a brilliant turn, but not to finish the match. And after spoiling his marker, he would only send the ball straight into the arms of Bouchan. Well, serving his blushes is the flag of the linesman, judging that Luke Shaw indeed had been offside in the build-up to that chance, fashioned for Jadon Sancho.
I didn't think Luke Shaw was offside after the replay we just saw a few minutes ago. He, of course, went for the ball while trying to attack the 18-yard of the Ukrainians. Found Jadon Sancho, who, of course, couldn't do nothing with the ball once again.
Well, it's Ukraine with the ball, England applying the pressure, Harry Kane, Mount and Sterling closing down. Zabani would find Karavayev all the same. Karavayev knew, of course, that he couldn't make his way forward, sends it back to Sigankov. Now, they are attacking. Space has been fashioned down the left-hand side by Ukraine, who are not playing badly at all. Now, Yaremchuk looking for a give and go with Zinchenko. Here's Yaremchuk. Oh, and the ball has gone away for a corner kick. And the Ukraine will be looking to take advantage of the heights that they have within their ranks to take advantage of this. But Yaremchuk, a hard worker, centre forward, but drifting into spaces down the channels and causing England a lot and lots of trouble.
That would have been an equalizer for Ukraine if only Yaremchuk would have taken a shot, but he was on his left foot and he couldn't take the shot at that point in time while trying to find Yarmolenko to try to slot in an equalizer for the Ukrainians. But it was well defended by the English team, who, like I said before, between Harry Maguire and John Stones, they've been quite solid defensively for the Three Lions.
Quite solid defensively for the Three Lions. Yaremchuk for the third time. My counting is anything to go with. Fashioning chances, but not able to make the most of it. The rest of the Ukraine team, the number 9, hard worker indeed, plays for Ghent in Belgium. He's done really well in the just concluded season. 23 goals in 43 appearances is scored for the Belgian side. Yaremchuk coming forward, and I have to say, couldn't bet our own Paul Onuachu at,
Paul Onuachu, gang. So.
Yeah, of course, Ghent. But I was speaking in terms of both players going all out for the top scorer, going in the Belgian Jubilee League. Onuachu was better by none, including Yaremchuk. Ukraine building from the back, 42 minutes in, 3 minutes before the end of the first 45. Bouchan stepping out to add more fire to the ambitions of the men in yellow. It would find Zinchenko. Would find now Sudachuk. Sudachuk spreads it to Zabani. Zabani spreads it now to his teammate Matvienko, who slotted in at centre back. Minin Michaelenko, as the Sports Silver pointed out, would now be playing as the third man in the defense. Here come the Ukraine. This indeed is a chance. Almost got to Andriy Yarmolenko. It's a second follow-up. But it's sliced by Shaparenko. And the ball would drift just wide of Pickford's goal.
Shaparenko, of course, had a good ball in for the Ukrainians while he was trying to also find, of course, Yarmolenko, Yaremchuk, and he finally took a shot, that man, Shaparenko, but it was just inches off the goalpost. What else I think the Ukrainians should do differently against the defense of England is to take shots outside the 18-yard box or within the 18-yard box. They're making it really, really difficult for themselves while trying to break the defense of England, and they cannot let you get past them, so you have to take those shots from outside the box.
Certainly, nearly bore the fruits they were searching for. Mykola Shaparenko with a slice after the ball nearly got to Captain Yarmolenko. Not for the tensions of the pair of centre-backs in Maguire and John Stones, looking to see out this first half with England walking down the tunnel, a goal to the good. And Maguire would find Luke Shaw. Shaw will check his run to beat his marker, but ultimately will lose it to the crowd of yellow shirts just before him. Here is Karabayev. If he had looked up, he would have seen Yaremchuk, the hard worker, making a run through the channel, but chooses to play it safe, going back to his defense. Matvienko will pick out Sigankov. Coming forward is the substitute. In support is Yaremchuk, finds Yaremchuk. Yaremchuk would spread it now to his fullback, who is drifting inward to number 5, Sudachuk. Sudachuk being marked by Harry Kane. Sudachuk goes back to Karabayev. Now ball back to Zubaini. Well, England keeping the shape. Calvin Phillips chasing Zinchenko. Zinchenko would brilliantly evade him and set Karabayev on his way, looking to cut it back for Andriy Yarmolenko. Smart move, but they will lose it, and England can manufacture an attack of their own. Jadon Sancho dribbling his way forward, and that has to be giving us a free kick, and indeed Felix Reich obliges. It's a brilliant piece of skill by Sancho, the number 17, to beat 3 players in one spell, and ultimately he would be fouled, and England a free kick to the good.
A couple of misplaced passes from Karabayev while trying to find, of course, someone just right behind him in Sidorchuk, who was trying to find him, but he was intercepted by Jadon Sancho, who immediately had to pace down with the ball. And of course, you already said it, he had to do a couple of flicks here and there against 3 players who were trying to put him down to the ground, but he held firm while going forward.
And 3 minutes of added time, of which a minute has already been played. England in possession. Ukraine looking to retrieve it. It's going to take a lot of hard work. England are holding it at the moment at their own half of the pitch. Sideways passing. Maguire to Stones, Stones to Walker, and now to Raheem Sterling. It's a foot race between Raheem Sterling and his marker. Raheem Sterling has him to the beating. Still Sterling, and Sterling, has he won a corner kick for England? Well, it seems he hasn't indeed managed to do that, and quite rightfully so. Last touch came off the Englishman.
Last touch came off the Englishman. Once again, it is Mykolenko who had to stay on with that man. It's as fast as possible, but he found a way to stay with him. Won a goal kick for his team, Ukraine. Now, I think Mykolenko has done really well defensively for the Ukrainians today, even while attacking as well.
More defending for the Ukraine to do. Sancho has drifted to the left-hand side, where he is wreaking havoc. Now his compatriots having a ball with the ball. It is Rice speeding forward. We'll find Luke Shaw. Well, wondering if you notice, as I do, Dr. Koki, that Harry Kane, maybe because of his role at Tottenham Hotspur in the just concluded season, isn't really playing off the shoulder of the last man. He's coming in field quite a lot.
Yes, he has. He has done that whole lot this tournament in the Euro 2020. He has done that quite well. But maybe it could be the where he played in the just concluded season for Tottenham, his club, and so far he's being used like that. Sometimes the crosses, the passes do not come to him, so he would have to drop deep to try to find the ball for himself. And here we've seen him do a couple of times for England as well.
And it's Yarmolenko not happy with Harry Maguire, who stayed down after apparently being pushed by Roman Yaremchuk. It is the Ukraine captain, who has a history really. He's had a go at his teammate on the bench today. Yes, in Tast, Stepanenko. Yep, just a well-recorded brawl between the two while they were both playing in the Ukraine Premier League. And that temper of his we saw just moments ago, at this time directed through the parts of Harry Maguire. And it is indeed half-time at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, and the journey to the semi-finals is halfway done, and England are 1 foot in it, courtesy of a goal from captain Harry Kane. And the Three Lions step into the tunnel, a goal to the good, knowing that 45 minutes coming up in the second half might be enough to take them all the way to play Denmark on the 7th of July, their own backyard in Wembley. Ukraine, of course, will go into the tunnel looking to fashion out ways to, disturb the course of the English, and hope that it will be then taking on the Danes on the 7th. There's a lot more to play for, as football, they say, is a game of two halves. Half-time, England 1, Ukraine 0.
The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam.
Well, the second half is underway. Sides have been changed. Felix Reich sounding the whistle for England to passes off, and it is now England still clad in white tops and deep blue shorts and white socks. Now kicking the ball from the left towards the right. Ukraine, they're all yellow, now have to defend on the right and attack towards the left, and they have defending to do at the moment, as England have won a very quick and interesting free kick, good enough for Luke Shaw to swing in with his left boot to possibly pick out an England head or leg, whichever it were. In comes it. Oh, it's a second already for England. Cue the second goal, cue Harry Maguire. And it seems like it's an evening where the Harrys will do the business for the Three Lions. Harry Kane with the first, Harry Maguire with the second, and cue the song It's Coming Home, as it's allowed to get just a little bit too louder at this moment. What a way for England to start, and what a devastating way for the second half to commence for the Ukraine.
The Harrys in England will be so ecstatic with the goals coming in from Harry Kane and now Harry Maguire. It was, of course, Sidorchuk who fouled Harry Kane earlier in the second half, but then again it was that man who stepped up to take the free kick, finding the head of Harry Maguire, who of course started the ball into the back of the net past the Bouchard, who was looking distraught when the goal passed him into the back of the net. It is a second for England in this game against Ukraine, 2-0 here in Italy.
Well, it was Harry Kane who won the free kick, and it's Harry Maguire to dispatch of it.
The Harrys.
Harrys. Quite positive the second half already for England. Look, sure we have to say, never mind him not having a name, Harry.
He has a Shaw in it, so yeah.
With the assist for his club captain, Harry Maguire. Well, fortune seems to have changed, coming for a lot of criticism early on in the club season for Manchester United, and now he is a man to be fondly and positively spoken about, both for his club and country. His unavailability early on was a cause for worry for Gareth Southgate, and we have just seen why he's a crucial member of this Three Lions squad.
And we sat down here to break down the list when Gareth Southgate came up with his team list ahead of the Euros, and he included Harry Maguire, who was injured at that time, with Jordan Henderson, who was also injured at that time. Lots of us criticized that move, but here it is, and this is the reason why they were included. They are a pivotal part for the Three Lions, and we've seen how they can be for the team. Harry Maguire has been really good defensively for them. When Jordan Henderson comes in, he controls the midfield a whole lot for England, and that's why Gareth Southgate had to include them in his team, and they have been productive so far.
Have been productive. Michaelenko sends the ball back to Boshan. Ukraine in a bit of trouble. Little wonder it's sent as far up as it can. Not sure it was intended as a pass, but it picked out Yaremchuk. He was John Stones who would nick the ball off the feet of the number 9 for the Ukraine. The Ukraine can try to find some courage and come forward as Michaelenko will get the ball from Zinchenko. Ball into the midfield, now with Sudachuk. Sudachuk searching for options, taking a lot of time on the ball, and ball is now on the left hand side of the Ukraine attack. Sideways, back to Sudachuk. Fantastic turn. All the way now back to Michaelenko. Has had to retrieve to the centre-back position, given the injury to Christoph. England can come forward. Here is Mason Mount racing forward. Sterling is in support, so picks out Raheem Sterling. Sterling two hands, Shaw in support. Shaw would come, it's the overlap. It's headed by Harry Kane, and it's the third for the Harrys and the second for Mr. Kane. And England 3 goals to the good, and the Three Lions are flying quite remarkably high. And Ukraine don't know what has hit them very early on in the second half, and it's a delight for Gareth Southgate and more despair for Andriy Shevchenko.
Another goal from Harry Kane, and I think the English national team have a leg and a half in the semi-final against Denmark on the 7th of July. It was a well piece of work created by that man, the Chelsea man, in Mason Mount. He found Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling had to go way into the left-hand side trying to find Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw spotted Harry Kane in the middle of the path, slotted the ball, floated the ball above every other player. Harry Kane rose highest to the ball, got his head to the ball, and it is into the back of the net. A pass Bouchard, who was trying everything he can to save that, but he just didn't do the needful, and it's England 3, Ukraine 0.
Well, England 3, Ukraine 0. Harry is now just 2 behind Ronaldo. Oh, those who care for such stats.
And Luke Shaw is having fun today. 2 assists to his name already, with Raheem Sterling with 1 assist for the first goal for the goal scored by Harry Kane as well.
Well, I wonder how much Roma's manager Jose Mourinho's criticism of the full-back has motivated him for the kind of performance we're seeing as well today on the back of what was also a good performance against the Germans.
Yeah.
Well, it's Pickford who would send the ball away and gives the Ukraine a throw-in, which to take quickly. Now it's coming out from the back is Michaelenko. Here we're coming field to Zinchenko to find Sudachuk. Overlapping is Sigankov. Oh. They had a mountain to climb, the Ukraine, coming into the second half. It just got levels steeper for them. Chasing to go a goal into the halftime break. Now they're chasing 3. And would require quite a lot if they are to mount another comeback in what is being a tournament of fight-backs and comebacks. We'll never rule out the Ukraine, but personally I feel it's very much unlikely.
Very much unlikely. This is a very huge mountain to climb. I think it has just gotten past Kilimanjaro for the Ukrainians to try to get back into the game. It's already 3. They would have to, well, we've seen these comebacks happen, though not from 3-0 down. We've gotten to see Croatia do that against Spain in the knockout phase, but then they lost out when it comes to extra time. So I don't think the Ukrainians have what it takes to come back in this game against England.
Comeback is what they will be seeking to do. They are enjoying lots and lots of the ball at the moment,
but doing nothing with it.
Not exactly. Well, we have to say all the 11 players for England are in their own half of the pitch, only now looking to break away through Harry Kane, who had the ball, but the captain not particularly in a hurry, taking the time to find Maguire, who would pick out the man with the assist, Luke Shaw. And well, when it seemed pretty simple, Declan Rice has passed the ball into the throw-in, and Ukraine have it.
Ukraine have more of the ball possession, but so far they've been closed down by the English team, who have been quite good and are marking everyone of the Ukraine side who has the ball on them. Just right now, we're going to see, of course, Mason Mount putting the pressure on Zinchenko as well. So yeah, this is a good start in the second half for the Three Lions. They've been really good to watch, especially in the second half for me.
Good to watch, and 2 goals to the good. And Rice can set them perhaps on their way to try to get more. So feeds it into Mount, who finds Harry Kane. Now Sancho can have a go. Chooses to select Kyle Walker. The English passing the Ukraine out of the game at the moment. Spreading it as Declan Rice to Luke Shaw, who was set to bomb forward but retreats. It is Mount into Port, picks him out. Mount to Sterling. Sterling driving through the midfield, twisting and turning, looking to make mince of his marker. Didn't succeed in that occasion, and Yarmolenko is up against Mount. Yarmolenko would set the ball into his centre back as the Ukraine can look to build an attack now. Coming down through the midfield area, searching for options, picks out to number 16, Michaelenko. Now Zinchenko would have a feel of it. Still with Zinchenko. Well, it's the low book for England. Something that is quite interesting to see. They are leading at 3 goals, certainly. Well, it's the game against Germany, and now is the first time they have scored more than a goal in this tournament. But what is interesting to see is that even with the lead, England stay disciplined and compact in shape.
That's exactly what they need against Ukraine, and exactly what they need in the tournament. We got to see how static they were when they dispatched the German team with that 2-0 win. They needed that, and that built a certain confidence in the Three Lions camp. And right now we're getting to see how confident they look, how determined to get to go all the way in the Euro 2020. But let's just stick with this game today against Ukraine. The confidence is oozing out from the team, and they look really, really good in the second half, I must say again, for against Ukraine.
Change imminent for the Three Lions. It is the number 8 and the Liverpool captain stripped and ready to join the foray, and seem to go off perhaps to be preserved for the semi-final, given the fact that he is on a yellow. Is number 4 Declan Rice, and his contribution today for the English team comes to an end, and in comes Jordan Henderson to make his impact felt for Gareth Southgate's side, making his 162nd appearance for his country. Remarkably hasn't scored a goal, not that they will be needing it, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind if it comes, but job seems to have already been done. Jordan Henderson, 31 years of age, born on the 17th of June 1990. He spent 11 whole years as an English international.
Henderson doesn't need to score. They already got goal scorers in the mix with Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane, who has found the confidence, who has found his goal scoring boot once again, scoring 2 in this game against the Ukrainians. So he might score goals, but I don't think it is a must that Jordan Henderson should be able to score goals for this team.
England are growing more and more confident and comfortable as the game progresses. The scoreline hasn't flattered them at all. They have been the superior side to the Ukraine. Yes, Maguire spreads it to Walker, who collects brilliantly. Sancho will support him, helping him get the ball back to John Stones to ensure that England retain possession of the ball as we are approaching the hour mark. Stones, Henderson to Pickford. Pickford send it as far as he can, searching for Mr. Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker will receive graciously, and so will Calvin Phillips, as Harry Maguire will join the United attack. Mason Mount feeling the pockets, picks out looking to send it into the part of Harry Kane, but Sommer stood defending from it's Michaelenko, who's Matvienko, I should say, who's
Kane might be getting a hat-trick here today. It looks quite easy for him trying to, while breaking the defense of the Ukrainians today, and he's done quite well in that particular sport where he plays for the English national team. But it is not just the fact that England have the highest scoreline for themselves, of course, in this tournament so far, winning 3 goals to nothing over Ukraine. This is their highest scoring performance in a knockout match at the European Championship. So,
and the 2 men masterminding this, Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland, having a conversation. Well, how would you play, really, Sports Steve, if you were England? It's about keeping what you have or going all out for more. What's the approach from here on forth?
Well, the approach right now is still good. They are attacking, they are defending, which is exactly what they need. The Ukrainians haven't exactly put them under pressure so far in the second half. So what's there to do? attack, get the goals, and as much as possible defend when you're being attacked by the Ukrainians, which is what they are doing. So I don't have any cause to worry. I wouldn't have any cause to worry if I were Gareth Southgate today.
Well, Andriy Shevchenko looking quite distraught, and understandably so. The dream is fast fading away for him and Ukraine. Well, here's Shevchenko back in a country that he loves. Of course, knows Italy ever so well, having moved to Milan from Dynamo Kiev back in 1999. He would spend 7 years with the Rossoneri, becoming the second most prolific player in the club's history with 176 goals. He is also the top scorer in the Milan derby between Inter Milan and Milan with 14 goals. Top scorer for the Ukraine national team with 48 goals in 111 caps. Named the Ukraine manager on the 15th of July 2016. And well, it's in many ways remarkable what he has managed to achieve. Spent time at Chelsea, 22 goals in 77 appearances. And it's quite interesting to note that, well, his goal for Chelsea was at some point against the Middlesbrough, which was at the time coached by Gareth Southgate, in what was at the time Gareth Southgate's first appointment as a football manager.
Football is quite funny and very tricky. We've gotten to see players play together and now coaching together as well. And one was sometimes you get to see players being coached by their teammates. You know, it's a very funny merry-go-round when it comes to football, but very exciting to get to see, especially between these two in Andriy Shevchenko and of course Gareth Southgate.
Well, interesting to see how far he goes as a football coach. Shevchenko, Chevy, well, those who love him would fondly call him. Substitution to report, just a matter of moments. We will see. We've seen some activity in the Ukraine bench. We'll tell you who is stripped and ready to join, as it's a long breaking ball from Jordan Henderson to pick. Oh, what a goal that would have been from Harry Kane! But hands on his head. Well, just, well, it was on a volley after the ball, searching for Raheem Sterling was sent back. But nearly, that was a save from Bushan, wasn't it?
It was a perfect save from that man, Buch, and he has, tried to keep the game civil for the Ukrainians with several punches he's made. And this time around, it was the ball sent in to find Raheem Sterling, but was headed off by the defense in Zabani, who eventually got the ball to Harry Kane. Harry Kane slotted it, but
Mount with a corner kick. Henderson with the goal. His very first for the national team, the Three Lions. And England are running riots at the expense of Ukraine. And they are 4 goals to the good. And they don't look like stopping. And bring on Denmark. England look well and truly on the way back to Wembley for the semi-finals on July the 7th.
Did England need the goal from Jordan Henderson? Well, yes, they needed it just to make sure that they had a landslide win over the Ukrainians. And right now, Jordan Henderson, just a substitute that was ordered by Gareth Southgate, has given England their 4th goal. It came from a corner, of course, for the team for England, and he went into the middle of the park. Found, of course, Henderson, who was marked, or rather marked before the ball came in. But when the ball came in, he was let free by the defense of Ukraine, and of course the ball found his head, and the ball is into the back of the net for England.
We could see what it means to the Liverpool captain. 11 years playing for England. This is the day he gets his first goal for his country. Goodness me, it's what a time to get it. And England are well and truly cruising. And they have found time to have double substitutions earlier on. Ukraine also effecting a change in personnel. And it's going to be a triple change for the Three Lions, as we see Trippier and Bellingham, as well as Manchester United's Marcus Rashford, getting ready to join the foray. Now, you could see the perhaps golfing class, if quality is a question. What's available to Gareth Southgate and what's available to Shevchenko. And, well, you look at that bench, already 4-0 down and already tired, and you see the quality coming in to attack you once more, or defend you as it were, and then you start to wonder. Marcus Rashford makes his way into the pitch. And Calvin Phillips will also be going off. The full change we will be reporting quite shortly. Raheem Sterling is off as well. And Jude Bellingham of Borussia Dortmund is on for Calvin Phillips of Leeds United. Getting the Hawks for appreciation from Gareth Southgate. Calvin Phillips, the mainstay in the English squad throughout the games. And substitution done. And it's time for us to report the switch in personnel in full. It is indeed, it is Serhii Sudichuk going on for Makarenko. Evgen Makarenko for Ukraine coming on the expense of Serhii Sudichuk. And Declan Rice off, Jordan Henderson on, that happened earlier. And Luke Shaw is off with Kieran Trippier of Atletico Madrid coming on. Raheem Sterling gives way for Marcus Rashford to have a run on the turf of Stadio Olimpico. And Calvin Phillips is off. And in comes Jude Bellingham. How do you assess the raft of changes effected first by Gareth Southgate? And Sudichuk is off for Evgen Makarenko.
Very, very important change, especially for England, looking at the fact that Calvin Phillips already had a yellow card, but so far has kept things clean in the middle of the park for England without a yellow card before he was changed by Gareth Southgate to bring in Jude Bellingham. So good change as well for Declan Rice, who was taken out also by Gareth Southgate to bring in, of course, Henderson earlier in the game. So, of course, it's a good change so far. Rashford is going to give them options going forward and also seeing if he can get goals for himself as well. With Jude Bellingham, who is a very likable and of course a man that or a young boy who of course can get the goals for England as well. So good changes so far for the English team.
Corner kick for England. That's Harry Maguire getting his head on it, sneaking in at the back post. But the number 6 wouldn't get his second of the game as we're up to 66 minutes. England 4 goals to the good. Ukraine shell-shocked. Not sure the scoreline indicates the performance of Ukraine, but they conceded nonetheless. England very deserving of the lead that they have and could yet do more damage, as Marcus Rashford is teasing and passing with Kieran Trippier.
You know, after the demise of Christopher in the central defense for Ukraine, it tells you how difficult it's going to be for the Ukrainians due to the fact that they don't have any other centre back to come in place of him, and that's why, of course, not basically the reason why, but they've been open defensively for England to make use of as they please, and that's what we've seen. 4 goals in favour of England.
Ukraine still holding their heads up high, trying to play out from the back. The trio of the defenders sending passes. Now the ball can come a little bit infield as they're searching for options. They will pick out Vitaly Mykolenko. He's up against Jadon Sancho. Ukraine still on the ball, approaching the centre arc, just at the edge of it. They're able to fashion things forward, just possession, but futile as far as bettering their faith is concerned. But maybe now they can create something, and surely they wouldn't under pressure from Jude Bellingham. It is the number 15 for Ukraine, Viktor Sigankov, who surrenders the ball cheaply for a throw-in, which Kyle Walker would take for the Three Lions.
England has scored 4 past Ukraine and once again haven't yet conceded so far in the Euro 2020. They seem to be the best team so far, the only team so far who hasn't conceded in the Euros this time out. So it is hard to tell you how defensive structured they can be, the English team.
Well, maybe Marcus Rashford can break forward now. Mason Mount picks him out. The Mason Mount into the box. Still Mason Mount couldn't apply the final turn to create fashion this chance for him to send a shot in Bushan's way. And Marcus Rashford with a follow-up attack couldn't keep the ball steady as Yarmolenko with a brilliant ball over the top. And it was being chased by the Ukraine forward, and maybe a goal can come the way of Ukraine, but it wouldn't be And Zinchenko looking to send it straight into this, to ahead of him for the attack, but well, England nearly caught out there. It's Pickford speeding off his line, but couldn't quite get the hits that he was hoping for. In the end, slicing the ball and nearly surrendering it cheaply for Ukraine to get a goal.
I would say once again, the Ukrainians have had chances, but they haven't been decisive. They've had opportunities to slot the ball into the back of the net for themselves, but they haven't taken it. And once again, they had that chance, but it is Jordan Pickford who came rushing out and to try to send the ball out for a try-in. But then the ball just went back to the Ukrainians. But then again, they did nothing, absolutely nothing with that ball, and it's still 4 goals to nothing in favor of England.
4 goals to nothing in favor of England. As Jordan Henderson would find John Stones. Now Jadon Sancho can drift in field. It's got the attention of 2 Ukraine players. Feeds it into Henderson, who just barely takes the ball back to his defense. And Mount can pick out Kieran Trippier. Rashford is opening up, would find Rashford. Still Rashford. Back to teammate Maguire. Multiple passes around the centre of the pitch for England. They are well, passing squares and circles and rectangles around the Ukraine, who I'm sure are as distraught as I think they are, really. It's one thing chasing the scoreline, and it's also chasing the ball, as they are unable to get a sniff of it at the moment. It's more and more possession for England. Stones to Maguire. Maguire coming forward. Picks out Mr. Sancho, who appears to have exchanged places with Marcus Rashford, switching right to left. And now Sancho can speed forward. Sancho cutting through. Finds Rashford. Rashford shaking, looking to shimmy his way past his marker, but he elects to go all the way back. Walker. Stones. Maguire. Rashford. It's all England at the moment. And we can imagine the feelings across the fans of English football and fans of England as a national team all across the world. And they must be delighted as Everton's Dominic Calvert-Lewin looking to make an appearance. I suspect Harry Kane will be off, and yes indeed, there won't be a chance for a hat-trick for the English captain, as he goes out on the double in this fixture for England on the back of a goal as well against Germany. It might have taken a while, but he has indeed warmed up the engine on the goal scoring side of things, exchanging a warm embrace with Gareth Southgate, as Dominic Calvert-Lewin have a chance to have a go at the Ukraine, who seem open for business.
Harry Kane has done the job right he needed to do here against Ukraine, scoring 2 goals. Of course, his third goal, or 3 goals now into the tournament. So yes, it is time for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to come in and also give the English team more options going forward and probably more goals in this game.
Now this is the 11th time that the 24-year-old will be playing for his country. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, native of Sheffield, won the Under-17 World Cup alongside Phil Foden in 2017, scoring in the final of that game. 40 goals in 147 appearances for Everton. And Sports Diva, there has been a lot to talk about a switch to Real Madrid with Carlo Ancelotti. His teammate Richarlison is also in the conversation.
Well, I'll just wait for that to eventually play out for Real Madrid and also for Calvert-Lewin. Of course, I don't know what their inclusion will be for. I don't know.
Wow, quite a remarkable move it would be. But just moments ago, Jordan Pickford was called into action. Is the substitutes Markarenko Evgen off his left foot, testing the resolve of the England number 1, who responded with equal measure, punching away with vigour. England keep their clean sheet intact, which is now just about 15 minutes from being 5 out of 5 clean sheets. Quite a remarkable feat, if you ask me.
Well, that was a really good shot from Makarenko. That was what I expected them to do, especially in the first half when they had those chances. If they had done that, it would have put Pickford in a lot of trouble most of the time. Though, look at the way he punched that ball out. It wasn't enough confidence from Jordan Pickford. If they had done that, they might have been able to get goals in this game. But they were trying so hard to break the defense, which they didn't do eventually.
Well, here is Sancho with a chance to break the Ukraine defense once again, sending it infield to pick out Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That just wouldn't get to the Everton forward. The attack is not completely dead for England. Sancho could get them yet again on their way with the trophy.
Harry Kane looks very excited. He looks very calm after scoring 2 goals in this game against the Ukrainians. So there have been a lot of talks about him not scoring goals, and finally he has found his scoring boots, especially against England in a much-needed match that they must win, and they did that quite well, scoring 2 past the Germans.
Well, it is 2 against 3. Yarmolenko looking to pick out Yaremchuk. The referee has made a decision. What exactly it is, not so clear at the moment. It looks to be the ball touched the arm of Yarmolenko in the build-up for what the Ukraine thought would be a chance for them to have a go at the England defence. Ball searching for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He will be marshalled by Ukraine centre-back Matvienko.
You know, Kosi, the Ukrainians are looking for, as they would call it, a goal of prestige in Ukraine. That is that one goal that will make things, that will help them keep their heads up high against the English national team. And that's what they're trying to look for.
Well, to make the scoreline a little bit more respectable. It can be one of the best hopes of the Ukraine team, because with all due respect to them, the way they're playing, I don't see them getting 4 goals and leveling things up.
4 goals
really in 15 minutes.
No.
But you never say never in football. It's a lesson of perhaps learned over time. But maybe we'll leave it at us saying it's unlikely they would, but not impossible.
It's never impossible in football. It is possible, but never. It's just like, I don't know, a surprise package we've gotten to see a whole lot when it comes to football. A good comeback in football history, if you know what I'm talking about when it comes to comeback. So, yes, it's not impossible. Ukraine can do that. But can they, with how they've played so far? I don't think so.
Yeah, they, with how they've played so far, share your sentiments. But here they are in Yaremchuk. In midfield. Sizing things up a little bit, switching to the right end. Back into Yaremchuk. Has been pretty impressive this tournament. Ball is back to number 22, Matvienko. Matvienko will find Michaelenko. The number 16 will look to pick out his forward. Brilliant ball, as it were, but wouldn't evade the attentions of Harry Maguire. The rock at the back for England. And he's cleared it and sent the ball into a throw, and Ukraine will look to build on it. As Michaelenko would stride over to pick up the ball and find a teammate. Finds it in Matvienko. Ball has been long swished. It's onto the left foot of the substitute. Makarenko all the way back to the right-sided centre-back. Matvienko will find Michaelenko yet again. Zinchenko. Now they're streaming forward. Now here is Alexander Zinchenko. Would he find the left foot of Yarmolenko? It is an untouching, and Yarmolenko would win a corner kick for his country, the captain. England are 12 minutes away from glory. Ukraine are 12 minutes away from flying back to Kiev in defeat, but possibly with their heads held high. I'm not sure a lot of people gave them a chance to get to this stage. But in search of a response, they have a corner kick. It's a wonderful in-swinger headed away by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The Ukraine still on the left and right hand side of the attack. Bellingham. Lays it on to Pickford, who whacks it forward. And couldn't pick out Marcus Rashford. Ukraine can come forward yet again. It takes a lot to keep playing, doesn't it, Dockers? Because you look at what the clock says and look at what the task is for you, and you'd be a little bit demoralized. But the Ukraine still looking quite spirited. The few chances they're managing to cover.
They would have to. It's their responsibility to see out the game, even if they are losing 8-0. But yeah, I scored, and don't get me wrong, even when they were losing 8-0, they would have to see off the game until the final whistle from the referee. That's what it is when it comes to sport. You have to finish it. But that's also the fact that they have a very strong mental strength in this game. They don't look distraught. They are still giving their all. They're looking at their faces. They look like, well, nothing is going down with them. They want to see off this game and make sure that everything is executed rightly. Though they're losing 4-0, but they are still giving their best on the field of play.
The last two games between these teams ended all square. 1-1 in London and 0-0 in Kiev in a 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifying game. Kyle Walker is the only survivor from those games. Yes, still in the English squad. Well, current coaches Southgate and Shevchenko were on opposing sides when these two countries met for the very first time in a 2-0 friendly win for England at Wembley on the 31st of May in the year 2000. And it looks like it's going to end in a victory for Southgate, as the two have switched from players to coaches. Shevchenko 44, 6 years younger than Southgate, who is 50.
Well, it looks, I don't know. I if I didn't know how old they were, I would think that Shevchenko was older. He doesn't look older, but I would just think that he's older. I don't know.
Southgate, an uncanny resemblance to an uncle of mine. I remember him every time he comes to the picture.
We'll tell him that.
He's looking to oversee this. Took England to the semi-finals in Russia 3 years ago at the World Cup. And looks to be taking them to the semi-finals of the Euro 2020 and 2021. And they would be looking at Denmark and feeling they can go one step further and make it all the way to the finals. Sancho running right, evading his marker down the right-hand side. It's still Sancho, but would end up giving a foul up against Michael Lenko. And quite a recovery from the wing-back.
Yeah, quite a recovery, but this is his first start with I think almost his playing the entire game for England. The first time he appeared was as a sub for England, but this time is his first appearance to start for the national team. And you're looking at what he has contributed so far for the English team. He is quite pacey in the right flanks, and we've seen his contribution to goals. So yes, his inclusion today was really, really important, especially against the Ukrainians.
Seeing lots of him certainly when he switches to Old Trafford. In these parts of the world it's more watched than the German Bundesliga. Ukraine maybe looking to have the last say. That won't be, as Calvert-Lewin sends the ball into number 8, Jordan Henderson. Under pressure he would pick out Bellingham to Sancho, his club teammate, former club teammate. That's what it would be. Bellingham still with Borussia Dortmund since moving from Birmingham City. Here is Mason Mount. Not very conspicuous, but effective. Mr. Mount. Henderson. Harry Maguire, lazy ball, a little bit overhit. The United captain has no qualms about it at all, chasing it, recovering and passing it to John Stones. Now Walker, back to Maguire, asking his players to make spaces forward. That's the word from the centre-back. England trying to pass their way through the rest of the game. 84 minutes, 25 seconds give and take 5 more minutes to the 90. And then we'll have to see out whatever Felix Bright feels is justified to add to the game. Not sure if Ukraine will want more time or to be quickly put out of their misery, as it were. But what's certain is that they have the ball, and Zinchenko maybe could fashion out something for them. And here they come in attack. It's fed into Mykolenko, looking to make his way into the box. Sancho walking hard, but danger not averted for England. And Henderson with a time for a back heel in his own 18-yard area under pressure. Bruin with confidence lets it go for Kieran Trippier, and Rashford was hoping to return it. Receives the apology from Trippier. But England not particularly interested with bombing forward, content with just skipping the ball and watching the time tick off the clock.
Well, yeah, they've already gotten all the goals they needed, 4 goals to nothing already. So, yeah, it's time for them to take things easy against the Ukrainians and try to defend quite well and astutely against the threats coming from Yarmolenko and, of course, Yaremchuk, who we've seen a couple of times in the middle trying to get that goal of prestige for themselves as well. But so far, England has done really well defensively, going forward, attacking in the midfield. They've been really, really sublime against the Ukrainians, and good outing so far in the tournament.
Looking to bag another clean sheet, the Three Lions, and they are 4 minutes away. And Pickford, who prior to this game would have been encouraged by Gary Neville's admission that prior to the Euros he was wrong to have heavily criticised the Everton goalkeeper. So how would you assess Pickford's performance? It's now cemented his place, of course, as the first choice goalkeeper for England.
Yeah, he was having issues with Everton at that time, so yes, I wouldn't blame anyone who would doubt his inclusion to the national team. But then who are the other options? Ramsdale, of course, from Sheffield United as well, hasn't been entirely bad, but Sheffield were bad on the day. They were bad in the just concluded league. They got relegated to the championship. So yes, Pickford is the man that they have trusted, and he's getting the job done. He's trusted here and has kept, if this game ends this way, would have kept 5 clean sheets already in the tournament so far. So yes, good option so far from Gareth Southgate, and I would say that Pickford have, changed the perspective of those that doubted him heading into this tournament.
Certainly, the game is slipping away from the Ukraine with every second that is taking off the clock. They are in possession. England look a little bit content to just let them have it as long as it's in their own half of the pitch, which is where they have it. Passes between their pair of centre-backs would find the man on the right-hand side who drifts towards his midfield. Back into Matvienko. Mykolenko opening up. Now Mykolenko has it. It's a cross into the box. Chested down by Maguire. John Stones, I beg your pardon. Looking to set England on their way through Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who wouldn't collect. And maybe Marcus Rashford will win it, or so he thought. But he's met with the un-Russian Ukraine player who just sends the ball as far as he can. And Jordan Pickford will pick it with his leg, I suppose. Not yet collecting it. Of course, the intention is to do what players love to do at this time of the game. Take time off the clock as we are into 88 minutes. 2 more for England to be assured of a place in the semi-finals against Denmark. Launching the ball forward to pick out Jadon Sancho. So Mykolenko has done a good job on that occasion, at least, of keeping the forward at bay. Gets a little bit too confusing. He is indeed still a Borussia Dortmund player until the dotted line is signed. But they'll agree in principle, Dockers. Only a medical left, which of course will be taking after the Euros.
Yeah, they'll already looking like it is done and dusted. It is left for us to eventually get to see him don the jersey. But so far for this game for England, it looks like the changes have really slowed down the pace in the game. And you're looking at the Ukrainians who have a little or nothing, who have made little or nothing threats when it comes to goals. So yeah, the English team looks quite content with whatever the Ukrainians bring.
Mykolenko into Sigankov. Now Matvienko can send it infield. Yarmolenko on his preferred right-hand side off his left foot. Sends the ball now to his midfield. Ukraine having the last say. At least the possession is anything to speak about. England just keeping the shape. Lots of discipline. Something that would certainly please Gareth Southgate. But now they have things to worry about as Ukraine have made their way into the box. And it looked like Zinchenko was stripped, but that happened right before Felix Breich, the German referee, who just waved him on to get on his feet as he was having none of it. And really, what has Felix Breich done? Feels there is no need to add any other time. It is indeed game, set and match. And it is glory for the Three Lions. And we could only say congratulations to the Ukraine for how far they have come. But yes, and truly yes, this is where the journey comes to an end. As Jordan Henderson, Harry Maguire, the English fans are all together in celebration as they make their way back to Wembley, where they will be taking on Denmark for a place in the final of Euro 2020 happening in 2021.
This is a landslide victory for the Three Lions after taking Ukraine out of the tournament. 4-0 it ended here in Rome, the city of Italy. And it is Harry Kane who had 2 goals, of course, to his name here today without that hat-trick he was looking for. And, of course, Harry Maguire getting the other goal for them with, of course, a substitute coming in, Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool captain, getting the 4th goal for the English national team, who are going to be taking on Denmark on July 7th.
Well, it's full time at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, and what the results say is that it is Ukraine nil. It is well and truly the Three Lions of England 4.
The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they